Hello and welcome. Guys, I am so excited to finally have this mold created. This is my bell mold that I came up with. So this is the third mold that I have available. I have a large seed log mold and a small seed log mold. And I've always wanted to create a bell mold, and it's finally here. I'm just showing it here. I'm doing a voiceover, so we'll just kind of follow along with what I'm doing. So you take a rope like this and tie a knot on both ends. I think about maybe 14 inches, and then tie a knot on both ends. Fold it over and just press the rope through this little hole in the bottom of the mold. This rope's about max thickness for the mold, but you could use whatever. This is just some rope that I had already, so I think twine would look really nice, like natural twine. And let me go back one second. So right here, see, I pull the loop through and loop it over that little post and secure it. So that will hold the loop in place and keep it out of the way while we're filling the mold. All right, so basically it's time to get the recipe started for the seed mix and the binding agent, which is like the edible glue. So I like these containers. You can get them at Walmart, these little plastic measuring containers. I have half a cup of water in it. So we're going to put it in the microwave for a minute and a half. Luckily, this recipe is the same exact recipe as my small seed log mold. So if you own that mold already and are familiar with that recipe, just do that same thing. But here we go. We have a gram scale. I'm using unflavored gelatin powder, 6 grams. And you can get it in these bulk little packages from Walmart. See, it's unflavored. So this is like a pouch of loose powder. Or you can buy a box like this where it comes in 7-gram packets, which is kind of nice. But these were starting to get more expensive this way. They used to be cheaper, but I found it better to buy the bag with the loose powder in it. And then I weigh it on the gram scale. So we have that all set to go. Okay, when the water comes out of the microwave and it's steaming hot, basically brings it to a boil, we're going to quickly add all of our ingredients. So we have the 6 grams of unflavored gelatin. We have 1 tablespoon of flour. And we have 1 tablespoon of corn syrup. Here, let me pause it real quick to explain something. I just wanted to point out that this is just one recipe of many that you could experiment with. So you can look online, do your own research, come up with your own recipe if you feel that's necessary. Some people have different opinions on what ingredients are good for the birds and to be used in something like this. So in this case, this recipe creates really hard, strong bells and logs. So that's why I use it. If you're going to be shipping or selling to stores or something, you want them to be hold together real well. And one thing to remember is some people would argue that like processed corn syrup is doesn't have a nutritional value for the birds and might be considered unhealthy, but using a small amount of it, we're using it as a glue, a binding agent to glue the husks of the seeds together. The birds are not even eating the husks of the seeds, they eat the inside kernels. So we're not trying to make some nutritional glue, we're just trying to make an edible glue to glue the husks together. So I just thought I would point that out, but feel free, if you just want to use the gelatin powder, you could leave out the flour and the corn syrup. You'll just have slightly more brittle result, but that might be fine for your home use. So, all right, let's get back at it here, guys. At this point now, we added them 3 ingredients, and we're going to stir them in real well. They make even these little handheld drink mixers on Amazon, the little battery-powered ones. They work so great. I recommend getting one if you're making a lot of these. I'm just showing how you can do it with a spoon. So I crushed the chunks up against the side of the container here. And there'll still be a few chunks and lumps, but we're going to microwave it one more time. There we go. It's looking pretty good. We're just getting, and it likes to settle at the bottom. The gelatin tries to to create a gel layer on the bottom. But now we're going to microwave it for 30 more seconds to get it back up to temperature. All right, and while we're waiting, we are going to prep the mold here. We're going to use Crisco as like a releasing agent. This is actually the first time I've ever tested this mold design. So we get to watch how the testing process goes here. So a nice coating of Crisco will last a while on there. You could use cooking spray too, but I like Crisco. It seems to like coat better and maybe last longer. So we're just going to coat all the surfaces that the seeds are going to touch and the surface of that round disc that you see, which is the pusher. All right, we're all set. This just came out of the microwave. I'm going to give it one more stir to break up any chunks. And you can see it gets kind of frothy and tacky almost. So I like microwaving it another 30 seconds after the initial. So now we're ready to get our seeds. We have 5 cups of seeds. You could use whatever you want. I'm just using mostly normal mix and then sunflower. So just go ahead and pour it in, and we'll start folding it in. I like to use a big old bowl like this, and it helps you make less of a mess, I guess. And you can kind of fold it in like I'm doing. And you want to get everything coated. You want every single seed wet looking. If there's any that are dry, you aren't stirring long enough. And don't worry about feeling rushed. It's okay if it cools down. It'll even get more tacky sometimes as it starts to cool down. I'm just going to keep folding, though, until everything's wet, which it is. So here we go. This is the first time I've ever used this mold, so let's see how we do. I'm going to hold the string up. I want the string to be straight into the middle of the bell. So I'm just kind of figuring out how the best way to do that. Yeah, basically just put 2 scoops on one side and then put some scoops on the other side. So what we're going to do is use the spoon to kind of pack the bottom of the bell in this case, which is actually the top. So the mold is making the bell upside down. So we use the spoon to pack in that bottom, and then we can basically just fill this puppy up. Yeah, it's easy just to pick up the bowl for to get the rest out. And don't worry about getting all of them out. They'll just become part of your next batch. So here we go. At this point, I realized we're going to need some kind of a packer, a pusher. So that's why I designed it like this. So there we go. I kind of wiggle and push down. Like I said, this is my first time using it. I knew it was going to work, though, and I'm happy it did. It worked great. So spin and lift up. See, hardly anything stuck to it. And look at how nice flat of a top we have on there. I think I even take the camera off to get a closer look here. Look at that beautiful flat top. So at this point, we're going to wait. I believe I waited 25 minutes on this first test. Sometimes with the logs, I wait 20 minutes. I thought we should maybe let this get a little harder. But I don't know. Somewhere between 20 minutes and 25 minutes is going to be the magic. So let's come right back. And it has been 25 minutes. And at this point, I wasn't exactly sure how well these were going to pop out or how to pop them out. This was my very first time. So we're going to undo the loop of the string. And I decided to tap on it with this. There, it popped right out. I tapped it a couple times with the little wooden dowel. But later in the video, you're going to see that that wasn't even necessary. So, but look at how gorgeous that bell is. It looks like it was made in a factory. So we're going to let that sit for a few minutes, I think. Oh, I show it here. Oh, it's gorgeous. And we got that nice loop on the top. But see, now I popped that one out onto the pusher. So that's how we do it for the first two. But stick around. We're going to make 2 more of them. We'll speed it up, though, here. All right, this one we use just black oil sunflower, which is just a favorite of the birds. So we're gonna put the pusher on and undo the loop of rope, and we're gonna set her down. And I thought it was necessary to do the tap, which works great. You'll see it pop out. That was wonderful. So that's one way to do it. But you'll see on the next one we figure out something that might even be better. So we'll be right back. So this one I used all safflower, and I decided to do an experiment. So I undid the loop, and I decided to just set it down and wait. And I heard a thump. In just a few seconds, I heard a little noise. I'm like, wait. I'm like, uh-oh, did it just break apart? Because I was wondering if it was going to release just by gravity. Because it's about a 1/4 inch up into the mold. And look at this. I just wanted to stick the rope through there. Look, it popped out perfect by itself. Oh my goodness. I should point out that I was wiping the inside of the mold with my same kind of Crisco paper towel rag to make sure it was nice and greased each time. But look, they are absolutely gorgeous. Almost too awesome. I couldn't be happier with how easy they are. That's what I should point out. They're actually easier than the logs. And this is something I forgot to point out with the logs also. You should dry them on racks. So if you're also an owner of one of my log molds, dry your logs on racks so air can get underneath also. You don't want any mold to form. I like to use a small fan. So I do racks like this, and I put a really small fan on them. And let's wait overnight here, which I think we already did. Let's see if I pick them up here. There we go. Now it's overnight. Oh, they are so good looking. So let's test out the strength. Look at that. They literally look factory made. Oh, it's so wonderful. That's why you want the string to go straight down into the middle so it doesn't create any pressure toward the edges to like pop the seeds off. You get what I mean? So you want that rope to come right down straight into the center. They're very solid, and the mold is also very solid. It takes a long time to print. I do 100% infill, which means I print it solid. It'll last forever, pretty much. So, alrighty, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the tutorial for the large bell mold kit. We'll see you guys in the near future with another mold design. Bye-bye.